You know, in times of crisis, there's only one thing to do. Hello, darkness, my old friend. You come to fuck with me again. Almond. No! Sorry. Dozed off for a second there. Hello, Bond fans, and welcome to my latest 007 movie review, where today I review the fourth and final Pierce Brosnan James Bond film, which is the 20th film of the series, and the 40th anniversary of the James Bond film series. Die Another Day. Oh, for fuck's sake. Directed by Lee Tamahori. Released in 2002. Okay, Die Another Day. Where to begin? Well, let's start with the plot, if there is one. So the sort of plot of Die Another Day is as follows. James Bond is sent to investigate the connection between a North Korean terrorist and a diamond mogul who is funding the development of an international space weapon. There you are. That's the plot. That's all I've got. That's the plot of this crappy film. Die Another Day. Well, what can I say, you know? This movie's a piece of fucking shit. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, well, you were expecting some big build-up. you were expecting some big, you know, rage moment from me. Well, no. Look, Die Another Day, I reviewed all the Bond movies years ago, about 6 years ago, and I haven't seen this film for about 6 years until now. So, I knew it was always going to be difficult to rewatch this one, because Die Another Day is my all-time least favourite Bond film. Look, every fan has their least favourite and favourite Bond movies, don't they? I've heard people try to defend this movie. I've actually heard people that think the first half of the movie is okay. Like, just okay. And fun. I'm afraid I can't agree with that. People have tried to toss this movie off as nothing more than a fun action film. But, as I say, this film is without question my least favourite of the official James Bond series. It is the only one that I genuinely hate. I don't hate Thunderball, I do not hate Diamonds Are Forever, I do not actually hate Tomorrow Never Dies or The World Is Not Enough. But I hate Die Another Day. And of all four of Brosnan's movies, this is the biggest stinker of them all. If any of the Brosnan movies take the cake, it's this one. Let's start where it starts. The story, or whatever the fuck this story is. This story is a piece of shit. There is no way DNA reconstruction can conceivably do what this movie does. I get it. DNA reconstruction. You know, you're trying to look like someone else, which is fine. I can get behind that. This film treats it in such a silly way that it's just laughable. Colonel Moon, from the beginning of the film, has DNA reconstruction to look like Gustav Graves. His voice changes as well. Really? I mean, I just don't get that. I just find that completely stupid. And then there's that scene towards the end where he reunites with his father when he is Graves, but Graves/Moon. And I don't know if that's supposed to be like an emotional scene, but it comes off as really stupid and just forced. Like, there is no credibility to this story whatsoever. Also, Zhao, the fact that Zhao is going through the same process, yeah, it's not conceivable. And The fact that that is the centre of the plot is really baffling to me. It's just bizarre. It's totally weird and strange. Die Another Day is about as low as it can possibly go. For me, what also defeats this movie is the fact that it is the 40th anniversary and they treat it like a fucking parody. This movie is so stupid and so silly. It doesn't help that they're constantly shoving references down your fucking throat. You got the shoe from Rush with Love, the rotating mirrors from The Man with the Golden Gun, the moment with the grape from Thunderball, the jetpack from Thunderball, the Union Jack from The Spy Who Loved Me, that's in there as well. It's just too much. Like, literally, that was the only way they decided to honour 40 years of Bond, by just shoving references down your throat. It's, you know, if we're going to be that ridiculous about the references, then you might as well say that Pierce Brosnan is a reference to his previous films. I mean, it sounds stupid, but that's how this movie's mentality is. Really, it is. Not only that, but the stupidness and the ridiculousness of the tone is just awful, and the film is tonally confused. It doesn't know whether it wants to be serious or campy. For starters, you have this gritty opening action sequence with a gritty torture scene, which is during the Madonna song. And then the movie dissolves into campy fuckfest when it goes down the route of DNA reconstruction, invisible cars, and God knows what. It's just like, what do you want to do? Like, are you trying to be serious? Are you trying to be campy? You can't do both. One or the other, Tamahori. One or the other! Seriously, I don't get this movie. The invisible car. Like, what the fuck? That's just too far, man. Not even the Roger Moore era would go down that route. And I know the Roger Moore era went into some silly territory, but it was done tastefully, and it was done to a point. The invisible car is just, it's a fucking joke. I mean, it's just unrealistic. And that line when Q says, oh, you call it the Vanquish, we call it the Vanish. I mean, I suppose it's a cool idea on paper, but in execution, the invisible car just doesn't work, and it really just, it doesn't do this film any favours at all. Oh, and another thing, the bad puns in this film are just relentless. The cheesy puns, they just do not stop, and it is a fucking nightmare. The very first scene, when Bond and Jinx meet, they're just talking in puns. They can't talk like normal people, they have to talk in cheesy one-liners. You know? So what do predators do when the sun goes down? They feast like there's no tomorrow. Oh, and then ergo, leading to the obligatory sex scene. Shall we go over some of the puns, shall we? Let's do that. Saved by the Bell. I've been known to keep my tip up. I don't like cockfights. I take it Mr. Bond's been explaining his Big Bang Theory. Oh yeah, I think I got the thrust of it. What do predators do when the sun goes down? They feast like there's no tomorrow. Time to face gravity. Looks like your friends have bailed. Oh my god, this is horrible fucking shit! I mean, I can't believe Neil Purvis and Robert Wade wrote this. These guys would go on to write greater things, thank God, but... oh... seriously, the dialogue, it just doesn't stop. It is so awful. What the hell? This movie has the worst dialogue out of any of the Bond films. I mean, I concur, but seriously, watch all the Bond films back. Tell me this movie doesn't have bad dialogue. Honestly, I swear to God, it is fucking awful to listen to 2 hours of cheesy one-liners. Pierce Brosnan, bless the guy, he is trying, but once again, he gives the same performance. He's a very samey actor. He just kind of does the same thing in most of what he's in, and this film is no exception. I mean, Brosnan is okay in the movie. He's watchable enough, but he's not giving an out-of-this-world performance. I mean, he can't really do that with the material he's been given. The Bond girls suck. The Bond girls are shit. Halle Berry is Jinx. She has literally no character. And much the same with Miranda, who's played by Rosamund Pike. They're basically just there for Bond to have sex with them. That's really it. And the fact that Miranda is revealed to be the one that betrayed Bond, like... big whoop. The fact is, Brosnan has no chemistry with Halle Berry or Rosamund Pike, so... they're both kind of redundant, to be honest. The villains, I think, are shit as well. I don't like the villains. I think Toby Stephens as Gustav Graves is just fucking awful. I mean, the way he's always got that smarmy smile. I just can't stand him. You just want to fucking punch him in the face, and he's just so annoying. And as a character, he's just terrible. The way, again, he's had DNA reconstruction, and then at the end of the film, when he fights Brosnan, he's wearing this sort of Terminator-like suit, and then he's electrocuting him with his lightning Sith powers. See, that's how ridiculous this film is. They use lightning effects from this electrical suit in a James Bond movie. The other villain of the piece is Zhao. He's boring. I don't like Zhao. I think Zhao is a terrible villain. He doesn't actually think about getting those diamonds removed from his face. I know all the villains of the Bond series do have a sort of a trait that defines them, but diamonds in the face, I mean, I know Shirley Bassey said diamonds are forever, but you didn't have to take it literally. And then there's Mr. Kill. Only one thing to say about him. There we go. Another thing about references, the laser scene. This scene just pissed me the fuck off. When Jinx is strapped to the machine and Bond is fighting Mr. Kill and the lasers are all flying around everywhere. You couldn't be any more subtle with that, could you, Tamahori? The key to doing references is to keep it subtle. This is not subtle. This is too in your face. Calm it down, Tamahori. Lee Tamahori is a shit director. Die Another Day is a stupid, pointless, shoot-'em-up action film that really just doesn't work. It really doesn't work. The title song. Ugh. Madonna's Die Another Day is my absolute least favourite song of the entire franchise. Ugh, the problems with this song are numerous. It is just awful. It is so bad. I have considered the Madonna song absolute ear rape ever since I first listened to it. It is terrible. It's a stupid auto-tuned mess. It is way too techno. It's got all these weird noises like it actually hurts my ears to listen to it. I'm not even kidding. And Madonna's making all these weird noises like Sigmund Freud. And then with lyrics like, I'm gonna close my body now. What the fuck does that mean? I'm gonna close my body now? What the hell does that have to do with James Bond? The lyrics are weak. Terribly weak. All she's doing is, guess I'll die another day, die another day. Everybody in the back, guess I'll die another day, another day. Actually, a friend of mine who is on YouTube decided to do his own remix of this Bond theme. So I'll let Jack McCulloch take you on a journey of discovery on what this song should have been.
I guess I'll die another day. I guess I'll die another day. I guess I'll die another day. Sigmund Freud. Analyze this. Analyze this. Analyze this. I guess I'll die another day. Another day. Oh my God.
Bravo, man. Bravo. Doesn't get any better than that. The title sequence, I think, is awful as well. Okay, don't get me wrong, the ideas of fire and ice are pretty good, but half the sequence is Bond being tortured. Like, what? It's like they couldn't think of what to do with the actual title sequence, so they just thought, well, okay, we'll just have clips of him being tortured. Like, I could see the point, but it doesn't work for me. It makes the sequence look like it's unfinished. I also think that this movie's got so many action sequences that it does feel like Tomorrow Never Dies. Very gratuitous. There are two action scenes which I enjoy, I'll say that. The two action scenes I enjoy are the fencing fight and the car chase. That's it. Nothing else. The rest of the action sucks. This film just becomes a real bore to watch. It's 2 hours 12 minutes and it drags. It really does drag, and I lost my patience with it before we even got to the Ice Palace. Oh my God. I will say, I do like Judi Dench as M and the MI6 regulars. They're all pretty good. John Cleese as Q in this film, this is like his one and only film where he's actually Q. In the previous film, The World Is Not Enough, he was R. I do like John Cleese as Q, and this is kind of his only film to really get to do what Desmond had done for 17 films. So I really think they should have actually given John Cleese something else to do in terms of his version of the character. They basically tried to do the same thing as Desmond Llewellyn, but don't worry, Ben Whishaw will come in and change things up in Skyfall. I mean, as for John Cleese in this film, he's fine. I mean, you know, his performance is okay, but he doesn't get to do a lot, so there's no point really ranting about him because he just doesn't do a lot. He just doesn't do a lot, and neither do Moneypenny and Robinson as well, and Tanner, and any of the MI6 regulars really, except Judi Dench. It's almost kind of sad to say that Judi Dench is the best performance of this film. Another thing that makes this film incredibly silly, the idea of virtual reality. I can see the idea they were going for with the virtual reality, but really, it's just too far. They don't. When is Bond ever going to need to use virtual reality other than for training? Like in the field, there is no need for it. It is completely redundant. I have that scene where Bond is testing out the virtual reality when, you know, we think that Robinson has died, we think that M has been shot, and then we just see it's Q pissing about with it. Almost makes that kind of redundant. I mean, it was kind of a surprise at first, but afterwards you go, well, what was the point of that? But no, the point of it was at the very end of the movie to make a joke, because we thought that Moneypenny had finally gotten off with Bond, but it turns out she was faffing around with the virtual reality, and it's very hard, isn't it? Yes. Oh my god. Die Another Day fucking sucks. I hate this film. I absolutely despise Die Another Day. I think it's just terrible. If you enjoy Die Another Day, that's fine. I'm not going to disrespect anyone's opinion. If anyone likes this film, then fine. We'll have a discussion going down below. All I ask is that you respect my opinion. And as for these three unbelievably stupid, fucked up moments, there we go. Die Another Day is without question the worst film of the James Bond series. And I do feel sorry for Pierce Brosnan that he had to go out with this one. So that's kind of it really. I'm not going to mention too much more about it. There's not much more to say. Die Another Day sucks. It's the worst film of the series for me. I score it a 0 out of 10. That's that then. So that's my review of Die Another Day, and that's the end of the Pierce Brosnan era. 4 movies, and yeah. Just to say before I go, Pierce Brosnan as James Bond, he didn't have the best films of the series, but I appreciated his contribution nonetheless, and he's not my favourite actor to play the role. I think Brosnan is not as charismatic as some of his predecessors, and certainly not as Daniel Craig. And it's a shame really for Brosnan that for me his only good film is GoldenEye. All the other 3 films are really just not very good. So, but anyway, just to say bye to Pierce Brosnan. Bye Pierce Brosnan, thank you very much for your efforts to the series, but that's it. That's kind of it really. Next time we move on to the Daniel Craig era. Yay, finally! My favourite Bond is Daniel Craig, and I can't wait to start next time when we review Casino Royale. So until next time, Bond fans, cheerio.